Oh, g'day battlers. I'm actually just practicing for a match that I've got a little bit later. And by a little bit later, I actually mean in a couple of minutes now. But I mean, seeing as you folks are all here, let's say we take a little bit of a peek at the new Silph Arena monthly meta for the month of November. I mean, we've probably got time, so let's take a little look here. Now, based on these things and also the badge that's been revealed for this cup, some of you have probably got some ideas about what we might be dealing with this coming month. And I mean, look, I don't think I'm going out on too much of a limb, but you might be thinking about one particular type. So, I mean, chat, if you've got any guesses, this is probably the best this is your last chance to get those guesses in. So you've got it in writing, so you can then say afterwards, I knew what was in this meta, and you can kind of prove it in that. You have to put it in writing. Otherwise, there's no proof. So put it in writing in the chat right now. But I think I'm not crazy if I say that most people are probably expecting some fighting types to be around. And to that, I will say, maybe. With the guesses starting to come in, I think it is probably the right time now to reveal the November monthly cup for the Silph Arena. Sorry, gloves in the way. I can't. My fingers. Hang on a sec. Okay. Fingers free. Now we can take a look at the November Silph Arena monthly meta. The second meta of Silph Arena Season 4. And yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at the Brawler Cup. Now, it is not a typing meta at all. Take a little bit of a read of the graphic right there. It is going to be another slot-based meta. So essentially, you've got 6 slots on your team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in each of those individual slots, there is going to be a list of Pokemon that you can use. This time, it is actually based on the weight class from the official game there. So you can see, we've got the Bantamweight in slot 1, the Featherweight in slot 2, the Weatherweight in slot 3. The words are very small, so I'm going to come up nice and personal so I can read it all properly. We've got the Middleweight in slot 4, we've got the Cruiserweight in slot 5, and also we have the Heavyweight in slot 6. So this isn't like you can't use every Pokemon that is in those slots. It is actually still a whitelist meta. So first off, I do want to say that those weights are based on the official weights from Bulbapedia. It's not based on your individual weights like in the game. Like, you know how you can have some you might have a Wailord that's 5 million kilograms and one that's like 2. Obviously, they are not the actual ranges, and if you have either of those things, I would be very impressed. But obviously, there are some weight differentials in the game, but it is just purely based on the Bulbapedia stuff. And also, Mega Pokemon are banned. So let's actually take a look at the whitelist, because I think that's probably the best way to get an understanding about what is going on here. And yeah, that's a bit far away. Like, I mean, I could come up as close to the screen as I wanted, and I probably couldn't get that good of a look. So maybe let's zoom in a little bit on the, first of all, slot 1 and 2, the Bantamweight and the Featherweight classes for this meta. Now, again, this is not all of the Pokemon that are in this group, so this is the only whitelist. You can only use these Pokemon in your slot 1 and slot 2 on your team. Now, in the Bantamweight, there are a lot of Pokemon that you probably are not going to see this month. You know, there's things like Magnemite or Meltan. You're unlikely to see those in the things, but there are some other Pokemon, like there's the Castforms there, super spammy Pokemon. I'm seeing things like, we've got Weepinbell as a Razor Leafer, Roselia as a Razor Leafer, there's things like Slurpuff and Spritzy that have Charm. There's also other things like Haunter, Jumpluff, these Pokemon that have come again and again in these Silph Arena metas. So there's definitely a lot of variety there. And then as we go into Featherweight, we're kind of getting a little bit more meta. You know, there's things like Ninetales in there, things like Relicanth. We've got the big Razor Leafers, the Victreebel and the Vileplume as well. The big Charmer, Wigglytuff, Sylveon's there, Alolan Raichu. There's also some spicy things like there's Poliwhirl. I can see Lantern, Drifblim, Dragonette. So there's a lot of meta picks, and you're going to see that as we go through all of these weight classes. There's a mix of meta picks and some less meta picks that may be more spice picks as the month go on. Maybe those of you who are trying to get the Pandemonium badge as we go through these months. I'll then move on to slots 3 and 4. And actually, I should probably say now, these are going to be on the Silph Arena site, so you don't have to memorize it all now. We're just going to give a quick little recap about what's going on, and then, yeah, it'll all be released on the website so you can see it all properly right there. So we've got the Welterweight and the Middleweight now. In the Welterweight, you've got another Charmer in that Clefable. I'm seeing things like, we've got Crawdaunt, I've got Diggersby, Gengar, Glaceon, Gliscor, Granbull, Politoed is that spammy Weather Ball user again. We've got the Obstagoon and Noctowl here, Alolan Marowak. This is starting to get really, really meta. I'm actually seeing Vigoroth and Zangoose as well, and Malamar. So we're actually seeing a lot of picks that have come over from the recently released Comet Field meta in Silph Faction. So there's a lot of picks kind of up in here. I've got Drillbur and Escavalier as well. Going to middleweight, we're seeing things like Aerodactyl, Poliwrath, Alolan Sandslash, Typhlosion, Tentacruel, Nidoking, sorry. Is Nidoqueen here as well? I don't know, there's a lot of Pokemon. It's very hard to tell. It's going to take a little bit of time. Don't be too stressed if you're not taking all of this in, because again, you're going to have time. You're going to be able to sort of settle this. You're going to see stuff from content creators putting out some stuff, maybe some guides about what the best Pokemon in each slot are. You've got all sorts of things going on here. I've got Golbat. Garchomp's actually here as well. Dragalge, who's been a recent favourite. Phalanx as well. And then we'll hop over to the slots 5 and 6, the heaviest of the Pokemons. I've got the Cruiserweight and the Heavyweight. In Cruiserweight, we've got things like a Abomasnow, Bronzong. I've got Sizer in here. I've got Fortress, that 2020 World Championship pick. Spiritomb, Solrock, Tropius, and Venusaur are both in here. Wailmer, personal favourite. And there's a lot of stuff in there. And then in the final slot, Heavyweight, this is the smallest slot of all of the slots. So you don't have as much variety in the picks here. So it's a little bit more restricted. So you've got things like, you've still got variety. You've got things like Melmetal. You've got things like Snorlax, Steelix, Golurk that's been pretty good in the Luna Cup. We're seeing things like even Onix and Alolan Exeggutor both have some play here. There's Crustle, there's Alolan I just said Alolan Exeggutor. Let's go to Dragonite as well. We've got Wailord as well, the big Wailord. Lapras, Tyranitar, both here. So there's going to be a lot of stuff to go through, and this is going to be a difficult meta to process, I feel like, but I think that PvPoke, again, greatest resource on the entire world, that's going to be, I know that PvPoke's probably going to have this updated pretty soon, and it's going to be pretty helpful as to what you can kind of expect as we trudge into this meta. But with that all said, man, I cannot word today, but with all of that said, I think it's finally time that we get into that battles. I'll stick these things on, and let's get into that match.
In the red corner, weighing in at 132 pounds, PvP Steve! And the blue corner, weighing in at 1,014 pounds, it's Snorlax!
Oh, no. Hey,
Fight!